As regular viewers of this channel will know, I do file a lot of complaints against politicians, PACs, judges, and other people, and I've gotten a lot of them in trouble. And I realize that if I don't start reporting on what these cases actually result in, nobody else will. So this is going to be today's complaint of the week. Thank you for watching. My name is Glen Morgan, and this is We the Govern. And again, as I mentioned earlier, anybody who's paid attention to the channel or read my website at We the Governed, you do know that I have done a lot of complaints, ethics complaints, campaign finance complaints, and other investigated complaints that I have filed against politicians, judges, PACs, and other political entities who seem intent on breaking Washington State's campaign finance laws or ethics laws. And many of these have resulted in fines and judgments, litigation, attorney general lawsuits in many cases, and oftentimes warning letters. And all those are basically, I have them linked on a website down below in the video description column. There's a lot of it, so there's no way I could go through them all right now, but it's in the hundreds at this point in time of people who've gotten in trouble one way or another. And basically, this is why I figured that there's so many of them out there, and I'm filing them all the time. It is my hobby, and I just do it on a pretty regular basis. So I want to talk about the complaint of the week. And again, if it wasn't reported here, I doubt you would ever hear about it. And it's kind of instructive if you're interested in holding elected officials and people involved in these political processes, the shadowy world of politics. If you want to hold them accountable, it's helpful if you want to pay attention to what they're doing. You really have to understand what the Public Disclosure Commission does. This is the main website, pdc.wa.gov. I'll link to it below, but that's a great resource for you if you want to know who's funding political campaigns, who's running for office, how much money they're raising, where they're getting the money, and how they're spending it. Oftentimes, this is where I do a lion's share of my research. It's not 100% of it, but it's a big portion of it. And then I also pay attention to what the campaigns are actually doing in the field. Look at their social media accounts or the politicians, and do a little bit of research and just pay attention to what's happening out there. And you too could start filing complaints just like I do. There's no reason why a lot of people can't have this kind of a hobby. So to understand the one that we're featuring today, you have to go up to San Juan County, which is an island county, entirely islands, located in the North Puget Sound area, right close to Canada. And I love the San Juans. I spent a lot of time there as a kid and still go up there all the time. Many friends of mine live in the San Juans. It's a great place, but they do oftentimes have a lot of really nutty political actors up there, which led to an article that series articles and some videos I did earlier about former disgraced Senator Kevin Ranker and his effort to take over and manipulate the entire county with Ranker's rules and changes to their charter amendment, which were on the ballot last in 2021. They had 6 of them that were on the ballot. Most of them got defeated at the ballot box, but he had a lot of supporters there who were willing to go along with whatever he asked them to do. And he had said at the time that Democrat voters in San Juan County will vote for a cow if he paints it blue. He was very dismissive on the way voters thought and would vote up there. It's a very progressive county in the sense that they tend to vote Democrat universally in almost everything. But in this case, Senator Ranker proved to not be quite as accurate since a lot of his ideas were rejected by locals there. However, there was a political group that sent out a mailer in support of Kevin Ranker and his rules for San Juan County, and it was reported to be paid for by a group called Northwest Passage, which is a leftist consulting group based in Seattle, and it's not a PAC. And it was really odd the way this mailer came out, and it was really, a lot of information was concealed from the public because you couldn't tell who had put what kind of money into it, and it was really an odd mailer that went out. So that resulted in a complaint featured here that I filed, case number 100473, that was filed against Northwest Passage Consulting and its lead consultant, Christian Sinderman. And as it turns out, Christian Sinderman received a formal warning letter just a few days ago from the Public Disclosure Commission warning him about his violations of the campaign finance laws. And this is pretty significant because this guy is actually probably the most highly sought after and highly paid consultant for the leftist causes in Washington state. He knows better. He does know the law, and despite that, he actually decided to break it in this case. And he was caught by this complaint by the PDC, and so he was formally warned. In addition, though, this complaint actually resulted in a second warning that came through for the crew out of San Juan County, Ranker's Rules crew, and they were forced to establish what had been concealed before. They had to set up a new PAC and then accurately report who put the money in and how much they spent and all that good stuff. The stuff that should have been reported before the election. As you can see, I filed that complaint before the election in November. That complaint was from October 27th, and here we are about 3 months later, and it finally was resolved. 2 warning letters is not the end of the world. Nobody's going to jail. It's not the greatest violation that I've caught, but it is a classic case of paying attention to what people are doing, and if something really looks wrong and you read the law and it's clear they aren't following it, it's really worth filing a complaint and forcing them to go back and fix their incorrect and inaccurate and dishonest paperwork that they filed in originally. So at least the historical record will be set straight and you'll know what these guys did. And now, because they've both received warning letters, it'll be helpful to know what laws they violated in the past. What happens with those warning letters is that it does become part of the official record, and if they continue to break the law, typically it weighs against them and makes it more likely they'll be fined in the future when they break the law in the future, and it seems with this crew that they probably will. So that is basically it for the complaint of the week, and I'm sure we'll have more. I file lots of these. If you do any of my consequential activism training class, I even file live complaints while we're there, and I teach you how to look through the Public Disclosure Commission and find the violations so that you can also find these violations and file your own complaints. It doesn't just have to be my hobby alone. However, that's just a pretty good example of a kind of a resolution. It's not the biggest one, it's not the smallest one, but it's a classic violation that was caught and exposed and never would have been exposed or revealed to anybody if somebody wasn't paying attention. So with that, I just want to encourage you, if you want to learn more, go to the description section below. All the source documents are located there. You can also go to wethegovern.com. I do have a page there where I list at this point in time, about 76 different politicians, judges, and PACs who've been fined, and another 112 that have actually received formal warning letters like these. So there's a lot of data there, there's a lot of information, and you can get ideas maybe by reading some of those complaints. But no matter what, the only way any of this stuff happens is if you engage. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and please feel free to share this video with others. Leave your comments if you think somebody else is violating the law, and I'm happy to take a look at it and see if that's true. And who knows, maybe that's going to be the next complaint that I file and be featured as a future complaint of the week. Until then, just remember, the future belongs to those who show up.